It's the Real News Network. I'm Sharmini Pierce coming to you from Baltimore. Linda McMahon, who contributed between $6.5 to $7.5 million to President Trump's election campaign, is also his nominee to head up the Small Business Administration. She breezed through her Senate committee hearings on Tuesday. Her qualifications and her past were hardly questioned during the hearing. She's the former CEO of the Professional Wrestling Association, WWE, and a major fundraiser for the Republican Party. Issues that the senators ignored, including her being one of the driving forces in forging a neo-monopolistic control for her company over professional wrestling in the U.S. Also, during her time as CEO of the wrestlers, she considered wrestlers independent contractors at WWE and were thus denied any work-related benefits. Joining us now to talk about Linda McMahon's appointment is Bill Black. Bill is Associate Professor of Economics and Law at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. He's also a white-collar criminologist, a former financial regulator, and author of The Best Way to Rob a Bank is to Own One. Thanks for joining us, Bill.
Thank you.
So, Bill, before we take a closer look at Trump's nominee, Linda McMahon, give us a quick rundown as to what Small Business Administration is, what it does, and what role will she play?
Well, Small Business Administration is actually important. It's one of those things that actually changes people's lives. And that's because even after the massive bailouts of the banks and the fact that they are awash with cash, they are very, very, very bad at loaning to precisely the things that banks claim they're the great friend of, and that is the small entrepreneur. So in fact, it is the norm for people to get their start in small business with the benefit of a low-interest loan from the Small Business Administration that can be paid back over a number of years. So it should be treated seriously, but I must say that Trump isn't the only president to not treat it very seriously. And like the Commerce Secretary, the SBA head has typically been a major donor. And you, in the introduction, made the point that she is an extraordinarily large donor. So you can see the going price to be head of the SBA. It's somewhere in that $6 to $7 million range under Trump.
And so she's leaving a huge business operation. Why would this be beneficial for her?
So first, let me say that as a white-collar criminologist, I view the opportunity to be interviewed about pro wrestling to be the epitome of my career, right? Because this is just front to back a scam, right? But except it's not really a fraud because everybody knows it's a fraud, right?
But the dollars garnered in that organization of the WWE, which has something like a $6 billion annual revenue line, obviously she's leaving something for this. So what's the payoff?
No, they'll keep it very much in the family. So at the hearings, in the background, of course, she put Triple H, her wrestler who is also her son-in-law, and has the incredible abs and such, as part of this shtick. She was part of the shtick. She would come out on stage and do awful things, and wrestlers would purport to do awful things to her. This is a world where it is all fake, but people actually get hurt because the tricks they're doing can easily hurt people. Hence your point. They didn't want liability. They didn't want to be providing health to a sport where people can get really badly hurt, like paralyzed, which can cost millions of dollars. And so they insisted that they be independent contractors. By the way, the usual economics is if you're running a monopoly, you pay the workers a surplus wage. That's how it normally works. So they want the best of all. They want to destroy all small business rivals to them. Hence, you can see why she should be head of the SBA, because she exists to destroy small business. And second, rather than sharing any of those gains with the workers, she did the modern scam, the Uber-ish stuff as well. Oh, you're not an employee, you're an independent contractor, so we don't have to do anything for you. So it's the worst of modern America, plus it's completely fake. Plus, I love the concept of professional wrestling, like professional astrology. So she has no expertise except in exploiting workers and destroying small business. So naturally, we made her head of the SBA, because it really doesn't get a whole lot better than this.
Incredible. For those of you who are more interested in seeing what the WWE has done to professional wrestlers, so-called contractors, must watch Wrestling with Shadows. It's actually called Hitman Heart, Wrestling with Shadows by Paul J. And you can have a copy of it if you are a donor to The Real News. Let me get our pitch in. But this is her husband, Vince McMahon, and how the operation was built where she was the CEO. All right, Bill, getting to more serious issues here. Heading up this administration requires being able to manage and build a small business from small to one that's sustainable. Do you think she's eminently qualified for that?
Well, is she qualified to run a particularly bizarre kind of business that hurts people? Absolutely. She's one of the best at it. Does she have any substantive interest in making America a better place for workers and small entrepreneurs? No. But the serious thing is this. The administration, the Trump administration, is going to use, as the Republicans have been trying to use for the last forever, small business as their excuse for destroying effective regulation. And it is true that regulatory costs are, as a percentage, higher on small business. So you always want to be making your case in those terms. But here's what to watch for. You're going to see that they're going to define small business as extraordinarily big. And so while the rubric will be about helping small business, it will really be to help extremely large businesses.
Right, Bill, as usual, thank you so much for joining us today.
Made my day. Go Triple H.
All right, and thank you for joining us on the Real News Network.